Well, come back to Let's Play Higurashi, Watanagashi. Where did I put it? Get straight to the point. Blah 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 blah. This is a fitting one. Tariru. Verb to be sufficient. Indeed, that will do. Let's quickly get to the plot. It's like, what? That's a rarity. Yeah, I've got something to ramble about, I guess. Preferably not with those bloody goddamn... That's annoying. I've got new glasses. They are literally pretty much similar to my previous glasses. I literally chose them based on that. But there's like a slight improvement on the vision. It's like the first time I got glasses, when I like walked out of the opticians all that with these glasses, I was like, whoa, the ground looked like it was just gonna swallow me. It just like looked so trippy because how bad my eyesight was in comparison to when I wore the glasses. But now I've got new ones, and it's only got a slight bit of that, very slight, it's very subtle, the difference. But the big thing for me is I can put them on without them falling off all the goddamn time. So that's good as well. And on another note, it seems to have passed now, as I'm recording, the 22nd of July. Is it July or June? I've lost track of time. No, we're still in June. Yeah, 22nd of June today. And the previous past 3 days here in the UK have been mind-bogglingly boiling. And the reason is like, here in the UK we don't have like much like air conditioning stuff, you know, like in other warmer countries. So when it gets hot, all we've got to rely on is electric fans. Maybe you could even hear mine in the background. It's right next to the laptop. I have it on 2, I usually have it on 1. The weather has considerably cooled down now, but you get the idea. I always have my fan on anyway. It's probably always hearable in the background when there's like silence, because you can hear it where it's like... I don't know. But yeah, I even did a recording for part 4, 5, 6, and 7 of my Wind Waker LP for the main channel during one of those days, and man, it was so exhausting. Just reading and playing a game, man, I freaking felt like I was doing a marathon or something, just talking the whole way through. It's just like, too much heat. It's just so hot you can't do anything, but now it's cooled down. But anyways, it's, look at another scrapbook. Final Fantasy VIII. Mio Takano's scrapbook. Number 8, I mean. The brief families in marching times. I mean, I like that this gives backstory on it all, but each time I go through it, I feel like I'm not really paying much attention. And to be fair, it's kind of true, because I was ramble on and on. But it feels like the equivalent of reading the freaking Wikipedia page. Doesn't help that we have this in the background all the goddamn time. It's like scenes like this, like when he was like talking to Shion on the phone. I mean, sure, there were like some really dramatic shit going on, but because you can't see any of the characters doing scenes like that, it feels a bit lacking. I don't know, maybe it's just me. As previously described, the Free Families Council today is a mere shell of democracy. In reality, it is a dictatorship run by the Swansaki family. Both the Keiichi and Parade families are far from their former glory, and it doesn't seem at all like they've maintained ancient traditions. Wow, the Parade families want to go Rika, so what really do you expect? Only the Sonozaki family has retained their glory from the past, and it's inherited many colorful traditions from the age known as the Kafuchi village. Even the most recent reliable example of Watanagashi that occurred at the end of the Meiji era seems to have been done under the orders of the Sonozaki family. Refer to the three families, genealogical tree from the late Meiji. After the start of the Meiji era, the Sonozaki family wanted to push the vampire of him as Alabama's took a strong role in leadership. I just realized. This also reminds me of Project Zero, the series in general, where you'd like read on like those random diaries and stuff you find. It's the exact same thing, really. Only this one's a lot longer than any of those, probably, maybe. I don't know. It feels like it worked better in Project Zero, because you just kind of like come across them every now and then. Wow, this is like all part of the novel. And it's nice and all, but I don't know, it feels like there's been a little too much scrapbook. Spread it out a bit, man. Feels like every part we're reading another entry in the scrapbook. After the start of the major general songs like a family and the first time, and the marriage only took a wrong role, we shift different damn wars 2 years ago. To give me a family served as a terribly opposition in our lines. But this one was in name only. In actuality, the Sonozaki family reigned as leader behind the scenes. People whisper that perhaps the Keiichi family dictated acts of opposition that could be publicized, and the Sonozaki family enacted theirs which could not. Even in Himizawa, they whisper that the multitude of unsettling incidents reported during the dam protests, such as the kidnapping of the famous head of the Ministry of Construction's son, had been carried out by the Sonozakis. You know, it's a bit of a spoiler, but they've mentioned it a few times now. But this right here, this little detail here, this will actually be brought up in one of the question arcs. And there's only 2 question arcs left after this one, so yeah, it's either 3 or 4, and I'm not going to spoil which, even though it's pointless either way, really. Additionally, they say that perhaps the Sonozaki family secret maneuvering was responsible for the serial freak death incidents that have continuously occurred in recent years. Well, serial freak death incidents are without a doubt the second coming of the traditional Watanagashi. They must be enacting a Watanagashi on the day of the original Watanagashi, which has fallen to the level of ordinary village festival, in order to remind the villagers of the holy laws of Watanagashi village. It's safe to assert that the Sonozaki family is the fastest route for researching it today. If I can expose the contents of the Ferretti Shrine storehouse, I'd like to narrow my research target to the Sonozaki family next. Sonozaki family house is strictly guarded by security cameras on the premise. But thankfully, I've become acquainted with the sisters Mion, the next heir, and Shion. Ah, yeah, they did interact that one time, didn't they? I want this to be a breakthrough I can connect to my next line of research. And come to think of it, yeah, they frickin' went in the storehouse together, didn't they? The punishment isn't over? Oh no, don't worry about it. You see, when you order the Odin here, for some reason it ends up on the annual invoice for our gas contracts. Don't be shy and have another drink. This seems likely to be an Ooishi scene. We only ever see this background when it's an Ooishi scene. The man red-faced here waves his hand to say that he's had enough and us blade into the brilliant neon lights in the line of the station. Guma-chan, you shouldn't be taking notes. The most modest people are the ones who live the longest. Was all that true? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know who's speaking anymore. That's why you should appear on screen there. Whether or not it's true, I think there's meaning in hearing something that sounds a little cool. Something like that be a motive to go for later. Kuma-chan, here's what I always say. The motive only has to be enough for the person in question. You need to think about how different people value different things. Hey, bartender, give me another mug. I think this might be Ooishi, actually. Though we have been suppressing the information from Takano's death, we're already known throughout Himizawa. All the rumors pointed to them having incurred the wrath of Shiro-san for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. According to the rumors, there were 2 other people who went in there with them. Shion Sonozaki and Keiichi Maibara. So you called the rumors, but didn't Keiichi spot them? No, not Keiichi spot them, Ooishi. Or was he bullshitting and just heard rumors and wanted to test his reaction? No, either way is plausible, really. It's plausible because they were tight on that. They're just like, no incidents occurred this year, we gotta be in top form. So they're keeping an eye out for stuff like that. And on the other hand, if he heard rumors about it, he's the type of person to try to trick someone into reacting in a way that's like, could give them away, essentially. So he'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, I saw you entering that. So just like, depending on his reaction, it'd be like, confirm that a rumor is true or not, isn't it? That's the type of thing you'd expect from him. According to the rumors, there were two other people who went in Shion's on and came to my bar. People were whispering in the shadows that those two would be cursed by our Shiro-sama as well. Apparently, however, the responsibility didn't fall solely on the poor trespassers' shoulders. Until last year, it was locked up tight, but this year it had been changed to a simpler lock, and not being what allowed thieves to enter so easily. Those were the rumors going round. Have you ever seen it, Kuma-chan? I remember it well. I had to go there for something quite a while back. Sorry, I don't really remember. It was locked up so tight it was scary. There were these really heavy bars holding it shut. And sealed up as good as a banknote. This year it was a very simple and cheap padlock. The lone girl protecting the shrine, Rika disliked the heavy locks and consulted with the mayor, who had replaced it with a simple padlock. So then the mayor and Rika shared the crime. So then after the mayor wouldn't Rika be in danger next? There's at least a possibility, Kuma-chan. I want you to contact all the cars we have in every town. Tell them to stick near the Ferretti Shrine. Got it! And all that. I do remember where we left off. Shit was getting intense. But we had to go through the tips first. After hanging up on Shion, I reached for Rika-chan's phone number on my school's contact list. There it is! My fingers trembled with urgency and I failed multiple times to put the simple 5-digit number. Who's speaking? Yeah, it might be. Keiichi, you call it... Oh, wait, no, it isn't actually. That'd be his parents probably, isn't it? Keiichi, are you calling someone at this hour? It's late and it's being rude to the other person. That doesn't matter right now. I shouted angry at my mother listening to the dial tune. Pick up, come on, pick up! The time was 11 p.m. It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly though, so would she get back up for me? Rika-chan didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up! Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of her phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Then, the bathroom? Yeah, she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. So I wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Even as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling. Over and over, and again. I kept on calling her, but she didn't pick up even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes, yet she wasn't picking up. Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house still? Shit, I've never even asked her where she lived. This was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with most of the numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Is there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name is Furude. It's a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around a drawer with a phone book, but could only find things like take-up menus and phone numbers for public establishments. Shit! I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Keiichi, my Bara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. That's it. Rena's gotta know. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Rena Ryugu. There she was. Wouldn't he? I mean, of all his friends, I'd imagine he'd already know her number, probably.
Well, this is Ryugu.
Hello, this is Ryugu. I mean, yeah, because she actually does, have parents. Was the voice of a grumpy-sounding man. Must have been Rena's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night, so I need to be obliged. I should get Rena on the phone now. It's like, fuck off, kid, I'm trying to sleep. I'm sorry for calling so late at night. This is my bar. Is there any chance Rena's around? Rena's taking a bath. Oh, he's not. Rena. Oh, Rena, he's calling her by her actual name. There's a friend of yours on the phone. Right, Rena Ryugu was her real name, wasn't it? I'd gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. I mean, I read it wrong, that's how much it caught me off.
Hello, this is Rena.
It's me, Keiichi. Sorry for calling so late.
Huh? Keiichi-kun? What do you need at a time like this?
Well, actually, I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rena seemed a little appalled that I'd call her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she'd caught on to how urgent my need was.
Okay, sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furude Shrine? There's a 2-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives.
I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I'd just have to take a look around. Got it. Thanks. Sorry again for calling so late. Apologize to your dad for me too, will you?
Okay, but Keiichi-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives?
Rena asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him.
Keiichi-kun, if you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this?
Rena affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she'd inadvertently sensed something was going on. What will he do, Keiichi? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed.
Keiichi-kun, Rena's being serious. Please answer me.
Rena asked me once again in a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine her ever using it normally. I was taken aback by her vigor. Rena was Rika-chan's friend too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika-chan's disappearing. I told Rena that, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena, well, I can't exactly tell you why, but...
Yes?
Rena's tone was seriousness itself. Yeah, that's totally serious.
Yes?
Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, no matter what you say, Keiichi-kun, I'll believe you. That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. I have a feeling that Rika-chan's in danger.
You mean like a premonition, or do you have some reason to believe she's in danger?
I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. I don't have much reason, but... Yes, I still hesitated. I told Rika-chan that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor to whom Shion had confessed before that had already disappeared. So, it was possible that Rika-chan also... I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up.
Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it and it isn't like you need to be sure.
Rena laughed a little, seemed a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheerful yet still purposeful voice.
You're worried about our friends. I don't think you need a reason to go and check on them. Even if Rika-chan was asleep and you ended up waking her up, if that's what was why you did it, then none of us would get mad.
Rena, thank you.
Okay then, Keiichi-kun, just one thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you just couldn't get through, so that's why you asked me where her house is.
Yeah, that's right. I must have called her for over 10 minutes. She could just be sleeping and not have noticed.
Rika-chan's house is really small. She would definitely hear the phone ringing even if she was asleep. Satoko-chan is there too, so there's no way either of them would notice.
Huh? Satoko? You mean she lived with Rika-chan? Yeah, I think this is the first time that it's actually been confirmed in plot. But I did briefly, randomly, I think, mention that perhaps in Onikakushi where it's like just casually said it's like, oh yeah, Rika and Satoko live in the same place. I think. I'm pretty sure I pointed out at some points. So yeah, this adds another layer, doesn't it?
Yeah, you didn't know? Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then something's definitely wrong.
Rena understood that the situation was normal far faster than I could have ever imagined her to. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that Rena acknowledged this also meant that the best case possibility of it all just being a result of my own needless fears went out the window. Oh wait, yeah, that's gotta be her. Wait.
I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way.
Sounds good. Let's meet up at the same place as usual. I'll be waiting for you.
Oh, wait. I'll come get you at your house. You just wait there. And tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay?
Will that be okay? We might lose time if you come here.
Did you call Mi-chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call.
My thoughts froze for a moment. Shion had just told me to be careful around Mion during our phone conversation a little while ago. The Sonozaki main house was somehow lurking behind the surface of the annual freak deaths. Then the current heir to the family, Mion, wouldn't be uninvolved. So wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Tomitaka-san, and also the mayor's disappearance?
Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me.
That's all Rena said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in the place we usually do before school. Rena wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. She said that Rika-chan and Satoko lived together, right? Then it wasn't only Rika-chan. Satoko was there either? He's only just realized that. Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. That can't be. Satoko is. She's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Satoko.
Keiichi-kun!
Rena was really fast. She approached me on her bike at an amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she'd been going. Hey, Rena, let's get going.
Keiichi-kun, I thought I told you to wait at your house.
Rena's expression was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue and I thought for a moment. Well, I just figured it would be faster to meet up here.
Keiichi-kun, don't you get it?
Rena shouted, clearly angry. I'd never seen Rena like this before. Do I get it? What's the problem? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me, took a couple of deep breaths and continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Well, at least it's not a creepy eyes. This is more the damn serious Rena is serious type face.
Keiichi-kun, the whole village is in an uproar now that the elder disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Now you tell me that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan aren't where they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah. That's about sums it up.
Then you need to be more careful! Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing out here alone in the middle of the night?
I began to understand where Rena's anger was coming from.
You told your family you'd be going to Rika-chan's house with me, didn't you? That's in the worst case scenario. If you and I were to disappear, people would know where we did.
Whatever about. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of Watanagashi, every night someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomitaka-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now, on the next night after that, Rika-chan and Satoko were nowhere to be found. hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but it wasn't enough to say that him and Sao was a little weird at the moment. It was, in fact, extremely strange. Rena had even anticipated our own disappearances and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell him yet.
Okay, then let's go tell him together.
With Rena beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. A sky that was uselessly vast and cold. Chirp, chirp, bird, bird, the chirp. So that no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such a crazy night, Rena had been unimaginably dependable. Misawa's metamorphosis, enough to make Rena caution me against carelessness, was to me the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. You seem to be repeating yourself. We met up with Mion on the way, and she, of course, was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Satoko's disappearance.
Keiichi, are you serious? I'm gonna get really mad if this is a joke.
Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understood how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Satoko disappearing after all that was something you just couldn't say, even in jest.
Keiichi, if it really is a joke, don't get mad, smile. It would be a joke after all. We need to go make sure whether it's a joke or not.
You're right. Sorry for getting upset. However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rena, Mion gave a dry smile the tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycles' lights flashed down the pitch-black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside.
Keiichi, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this?
Mion asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rena. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced, though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing and couldn't get it out of my head.
So did Rika-chan get kidnapped in the dream?
Well, it's more of a vague feeling, sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected with Shion would be like silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together at night. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know well that convinced her. Or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Satoko were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting any differently these last few days. I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Ooishi-san that she was a successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Keiichi, my bara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the mine of Watanagashi? In such a harsh tone at that. Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. When I think about that Mion, then Shion and Ooishi-san's descriptions of Mion made a tiny bit more sense. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? Mion was pedaling her bicycle in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how long I looked at her back, it never gave me answers to any of my questions. Well, no shit they wouldn't give you any answers. We went all the way to the stone steps leading up to the shrine grounds. On bike or off bike? I mean, I know it's a serious situation. We gotta lighten the mood a little bit now. Of course, we weren't going to haul our bikes up there, so we parked them beside the staircase instead. So this is the Perilous Shrine. I don't know who's speaking now because none of them are appearing on screen.
Everybody comes and goes as they please, as if it were a park, but this place is actually a grand estate owned by the Ferreira family.
I'm actually, like, while I was saying that, thinking maybe it was actually Leon that said that, but who cares? Surely the entire shrine is private property. It makes you feel the passage of time. 10 or 20 years ago, it would have looked the exact same. Then, wouldn't that mean that the Ferreira family is really old? Their history going back for generations?
Yeah, they're gone. That's odd.
Rena said something clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her. What's wrong, Rena?
Rika-chan and Satoko-chan always leave their bicycles here. See? They're gone.
Oh shit, I took a look around. Indeed, there were no other bicycles aside from the ones we've taken to get here.
Couldn't they have bought them somewhere else?
Could they brought them up the stairs?
Those girls come to lack, Keiichi-kun.
Just as you said, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Satoko lugging their bikes all the way up there. We hadn't yet knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparkling some ideas that weren't what you call good. Maybe they were just parked under some trees and we hadn't noticed it. I refuse to believe that not being able to find their bikes was proof that they disappeared. Let's go! The only way to be sure is to check their house. We all nodded and dashed up the store own steps. We passed through the red arch and came out onto the shrine grounds, which was covered in neat gravel. It was so quiet here as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened. So, where's the house they live in?
Over here. With me.
Rena took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looked around behind it. Look at that, man. That is her house. That is like pretty much just a storage shed, but it turned into a house. Well, a shack, wherever. I mean, it's like, you wouldn't really think, like, it's just, it makes your mind boggle when you really think about it, really, isn't it? Satoko lives with Rika. Rika doesn't have parents because they died in the instance in the couple of years back in game, plot-wise, whatever. So it's just them two living in that shack. Mind blown. In the darkness of the night, we found a small prefab two-story shack that looked like a warehouse. The lights are off. Are they sleeping?
Let's knock.
Rena and Mion neared the shack, which didn't really look like a place people would live. Exactly. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I think they'd live in an equally beautiful house. It was far from what I had expected.
Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! Are you there?
Rena shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but it steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all.
They might be sleeping. Let's wake them up.
Mion banged on the shutter with both hands, and the loud sounds echoed out into our surroundings. They would have to notice this much noise. They would turn on the light in their room, fling open the windows and yell, "What time do you think it is?" That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fists in the shutter and a sudden silence fell over us. The silence aroused terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face.
It's locked. I wonder if we can get into it somehow.
And it showed no signs of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit they weren't there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. That refusal to give in gave me strength. The second-story windows wouldn't be locked. I'll give him a try.
Keiichi, a ladder!
Leon brought up a ladder that was standing against the house. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing it, but Leon held the ladder firmly in place for me. I hadn't climbed too many ladders. My inexperience with them exposed, I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor.
Rika-chan, I'm going to go check the main house just to be sure, okay? I'll be right back.
Rena darted away. What? The main house? Who's saying that? Maybe it's Mion because Rena just ran off after all. It's the Fruity family's actual house. After her parents passed away, I think it's been like, left like that. Right. Rika-chan's parents, they passed away, huh? At that point I recalled something else. Wasn't Satoko living here too? Satoko's also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Ooishi-sama's curse. Then her older brother Satoshi-kun, he disappeared. And if you've been paying attention to this, particularly in the tips for Watanagashi and Onikakushi, you'll have seen them just kind of mentioned briefly here and there. Satoshi a bit more notable in Onikakushi, and a bit in this as well, but not to the same extent, really, so far. But it was like more in passing, really, wasn't it, for the parents? It wasn't really like brought up much because it was just mostly in the tips and Keiichi not putting two and two together with their last name. Satoshi, heard that name before. I remembered. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse. Ever since then, Satoko and Rika-chan have been living in this shack. None of them has any family, at least they're together. They help each other out. Rena said main house, didn't she? Wouldn't it be easy to live there? The curtains were drawn so I couldn't get a good look inside to see, but two young girls living together seemed like a pretty tough life. I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard though because it reminded her of her parents. I had no idea. She really bad. They were normally so cheerful at school that I never even realized the matter with this. Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, they have it hard, huh? She's cursed. Huh? Suddenly Mion said something in such a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. I turned around on the ladder to face her and asked again. Mion, what did you just say? I said she's cursed. Mion, still holding onto the ladder, brought her head up to look me in the eyes. As soon as our eyes met, an absolute zero jolt of electricity surged through my body. Mion's eyes clouded over, and within them boiled and bubbled a stew of chaos. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floating to the surface. I had at some point been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Mion! Why are you making that face? I intend to follow it up where you're going to father's joke and give her a full smile. However, on such uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out of my mouth was a hoarse groan as I desperately struggled to not let nausea overwhelm me. Satoko Hojo, she's been cursed by Ooishi-sama. Leon answers with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to somebody else's question. The only person who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one to survive. Then she was said to live with her aunt, who treated her cruelly, and the aunt was killed on the night of Watanagashi by some deviant, who beat her to death so violently her brains were everywhere, and her head had an entirely different shape by the end of it. Then Satoshi-kun, who always protected her, he suddenly disappeared on her birthday. Someone made him disappear even though he wasn't abusing her. The police judged him to have run away from the home,
But Satoshi-kun wasn't the kind of person who would do that. He was always earnest. He would never ask for someone else's help. He would always drag himself through everything with hard work alone. He worked so hard he nearly ground his own bones into dust, all for his one and only little sister, yet somehow made him disappear. She was the only thing he lived for, and yet someone made him disappear. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was never rewarded, that Satoshi-kun. How ungrateful that child is. She's cursed. All who get near her suffer the same fate. The curse kills him, or the curse makes him disappear. So he cannot have any relief. She cannot have any relief. It's probably Satoko's fault that Rika-chan disappeared too. It has to be, 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 it has to be.
Man was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent. Much like my rambling, ha ha ha. No comic relief here. The shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away the ground really was. Calm down, Mion! I don't know what you're talking about! I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling was becoming even more violent. Help me! The ladder, it's falling! Help me! Help! Just then, I heard the sound of many people running towards us. Oh, hey! Over here! I very nearly said help me out right. 4 or 5 adults led by Rena ran over here with flashlights.
Keiichi-kun, Rika-chan, sorry I took so long. I borrowed the key.
Oh, nice one. Seems all the windows and doors are perfectly sealed. I was getting worried. When I heard Mion talking like nothing had just happened, I again felt a chill run through me. The person currently holding the ladder in place was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Sonzaki, Ren. The person muttering to themselves just a few seconds ago. Who was that? The person who was mumbling about terrible things like curses. Who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away before Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion a second time. The adults tried a few different keys on a key ring as they tried to open the big shutter on the first floor.
Rika-chan's house used to be a disaster shelter for the town council, so the key to the shutter is still kept in the mayor's house.
It's Rika-chan and Satoko's private residence now, though. Well, this is on Rika-chan's property anyway. Nobody complains about it. Mion gave me a smile as she said that. I, however, could only return her gaze with an aghast expression. Mion was acting all too normal now, but that only contrasted all the more sharply with her earlier un-Mion-like creepiness. Bang! Bam! Clatter, 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 bang! The shutter opens up for the first time in a very long while. Rena located the light switch and wasted no time going inside. I followed her in. Rika-chan! Satoko-chan! If you hear us, say something! We climbed a narrow staircase that looked like nothing more than a warehouse, but now that I was inside, I could feel how lived in it was. It was a person's home. Somehow the scent of the two of them filled the place. This was definitely where Rika-chan and Satoko lived. The first floor doubled as a town assembly warehouse, but the second floor was a space entirely for living. Just like a one-room apartment, past the kitchen was a living room taking up about 150 square feet. Dressers, cupboards, and the like were packed into the space, and in the corner there was a huge pile of clothes that appeared to have been taken in from drying outside. In the center of the living room was a fold-up table, and on it were small containers for things like soy sauce and salad dressing. A sense of a frugal lifestyle drifted from all of it. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of the night like this. The adults climbing the stairs one at a time began to make a fuss and talk amongst themselves. So? Not here?
Yeah, they're not here. It's definitely weird.
The village had just been thrown into chaos yesterday because of the mayor's disappearance. Then today, even Rika-chan and Satoko had. Were they out playing somewhere together? Can't be. Their bicycle's on here, though. could they have gone out so late at night? They just not come back yet. Where did they go? The adults put forth various possibilities, and the house immediately devolved into a state of confusion. Eventually, Mion settled them down. I don't want to believe it, but Kimiyoshi disappeared yesterday. I can't say that this is unrelated. The adults' faces paled at Mion's declaration. Mine and Rena's did as well. Who's speaking? Probably her, because she's the one trying to, explain things. Let's see, they could have gone nearby for some tea or something, and accidentally fallen asleep. Whoever by them might just not be able to wake them up at all. Well, too. Let's eliminate that possibility first. Takano-san, please go around to the houses near the stream. Kitaru-san, go look near Ojaga Lake. Okamura-san, you. Mion promptly gave directions to the villagers. The adults followed them without hesitation despite her age. We'll remain here and call up anyone we can think of on the phone. Okay, everyone, you have your orders. Got it. The adults all roared in reply and pounded back down the stairs below.
Wow, me-chan, you're not only chairperson of the school, but enemies out too.
No time for jokes. Hey, step aside. This old man's using the phone. Mion grinned proudly, took the receiver and got started. Rena gave Mion a trusting look, considering her dependable for doing all of this. My feelings there were a little more complicated, since her leadership seemed to be affirming the Sonozaki family's successor impression that Shion and Ooishi-san had given me. Stop right there, Keiichi Maibara. None of that matters right now. The most important thing is to make sure Rika-chan and Satoko are safe. Let's see, couldn't there be a clue hinting at where they might have gone somewhere in this room?